Hello everyone. We are live with the SIUP India is live with University of Law. University of Law is the largest law school in the UK. We have Sarah Pulley, the campus dean and associate professor at University of Law. In this special seminar, we will learn more about routes to legal practice in the UK. Over to you, Sarah.
Thank you very much for that introduction. So yes, I am Sarah Pooley and I am the Dean of the Guildford and Reading campuses at the University of Law. And it's my pleasure to talk to you today about the university and also about these new and exciting courses that we have from September 2021. So I'm going to start with the conversion courses and then move on to the new Solicitors Qualifying Examination, the SQE. But before I get there, I want to talk a little bit about the university. And I think a key thing is to realise that the university is spread across almost the entirety of England. So as you can see, we have on the left-hand side of the slide, we have campuses up in the north in Manchester, Leeds, through the Midlands in Birmingham and Nottingham, and then down in the south, London, where there are two campuses, London Bloomsbury and London Moorgate, and then Bristol and Guildford. But you'll also see that we are very proud to have partnered with some really well-established and well-respected universities across the country, so that we're now able to deliver our courses out of the University of Reading, Liverpool, University of East Anglia, which is in Norwich, University of Sheffield, and the University of Exeter. So we are really widely spread across the country. But the beauty of the University of Law is that it doesn't matter where you are, whether you're in Manchester or London Moorgate or Exeter, you receive the same tuition and the same course materials. So there's sort of uniformity across the entire university. We are one of the largest law schools in the United Kingdom, and we've been going an awful long time as well. We've been going since the 1870s. So what this means is that along the way, we have obviously picked up a big alumni base. And what that means for you is that if you are then meeting qualified lawyers in the United Kingdom, they will know who we are because either they studied with us themselves, or now perhaps the law firm they're based in has a tie-up with us. So a big alumni base, and that can only be good news for our students when they're seeking work in the country. So that really just reiterates what I was saying, is that we work with 90 of the top 100 law firms across the country. And I think it's really important as well to realise that those firms are spread across the whole sort of range of service levels. So we work with big international firms that are based in the City of London, firms that are national. So someone like Owen Mitchell have offices across the entire country, as well as big regional firms. For example, firms that are based in the big regional centres like Birmingham with Rag & Co, or Manchester. So a huge array of law firms. And indeed, in my region, we have great connections with the firms in the southeast region, which are reporting that they are performing quite well, notwithstanding the pandemic at the moment. So really good connections across the profession. But today, I really want to talk to you, as we've said, about getting into practice in the country. And to do that, we need to start from the perspective of what do non-law graduates do. And so when we're thinking here, these are people in the UK who have done a degree in something other than law, or those that are based overseas where they have done perhaps a law qualification, but obviously not in the law of England and Wales. Well, then they need to sort of get this the law of our jurisdiction under their belt. And to do that, they will do some form of conversion course. Now, the new conversion courses are shown here on the left-hand side of the slide. And what this is going to do is show you, I'm going to walk through the route into practice. So I'm going to talk about these new and exciting conversion courses. You can see them mentioned there, this big array ranging from a master's qualification, an MA in law, and we have two varieties of those, the MA SQE and the MA Law Conversion. as well as the PGDL, the sort of natural successor to the graduate diploma in law, and then even something called SQE Law Essentials. And then we can think about the route thereafter. And after you've got a conversion course under your belt, well, then either lawyers head off down the solicitor route, which we're focusing on today, or the bar route. Let's just cover off the bar route, which takes people to being a barrister. Well, then, having done that conversion course of some description, whether it was MA or PGDL, you then need to study the bar practice course. So that's effectively a one-year course. You then do 1 year's pupillage. So you are effectively on the job, 6 months shadowing, 6 months practicing before you are then, hopefully you gain tenancy and you become a barrister. But coming along the top is the solicitor route. And here it's a little bit confusing because there are some transitional arrangements in place, which means that there are students who are in the country at the moment who are going to be able to study on the old system. But here's the new system. So the options here are an LL.M in legal practice, which encompasses the SQE1, the Solicitors Qualifying Examination preparatory courses 1 and 2, or there are those courses in their standalone form. The assessments that follow on from those courses are the SQE1 and SQE2, and having succeeded in those, well, then you complete 2 years qualifying work experience before you become a qualified solicitor. So that's the route. So we can see the sort of the sort of full range there of all the courses that need to be either completed, and indeed the work experience that needs to be completed. So let's home in now on these conversion courses. I mentioned them very briefly, didn't I? So I'm going to look at them one by one and just give you a bit of a feel for them. So we've got the new postgraduate diploma in law, the PGDL, very much the natural successor to our very successful GDL, our graduate diploma in law. So this is the new version. There is a new MA law conversion, which has got the PGDL in it, but is set at master's level. The MA Law SQE1, which again has a PGDL in it, but is set at master's level and also has the SQE1 prep course bolted on. And then SQE Law Essentials. So what can we sort of talk about here? What can we sort of say about what they will do for you, these courses? Because we saw that big route map, didn't we? Let's just home in on that a little bit more. So what can the PGDL do for you? What door does it open? Well, the PGDL, the natural successor to the old style conversion course, the graduate diploma in law, it opens the door, as our flowchart showed, both to the solicitors and barristers profession. So you can do the bar practice course with the PGDL under your belt. You can also do the prep courses that take you towards the solicitors qualifying examination. So the LL.M in legal practice, which encompasses those SQE1 and SQE2 prep courses, or the SQE1 and 2 prep courses that are standalone. The MA law conversion does the same job. So this is a PGDL, a conversion course, which has got extra extension in there. It's got some really interesting extra modules that raise that postgraduate diploma in law to MA level, to master's level. So it gives you a master's level qualification. So you're being extended in a slightly more academic course, but you're getting the PGDL basics as well. And that opens the door, just the same as the PGDL, to the solicitor route, the LL.M in legal practice, SQE1 and SQE2, or the bar. The MA Law SQE1, rather as its name suggests, it's got the PGDL in there, the conversion. It's at master's level, so has the exciting new extension options in there too, but it also bolts onto the end, so it's a little bit longer than the MA Law conversion because it bolts onto the end, the SQE1 prep course. So at the end of the MA Law SQE1 course, you are in a position where you have both passed your University of Law exams so that you have your conversion under your belt, but equally you can go on to do your SQE2 prep course. You're ready to go. You've done your SQE1 exam too. And then finally, the Solicitors Qualifying Examination Legal Essentials, which is cited at the end there. This is an interesting course. It's short, it's a little bit fast and furious. And what does it do? It opens the door to the solicitor route. It won't get you through the barrister route because it doesn't satisfy the bar's requirements. But what it does do is it opens the door for you to do the LL.M in legal practice or the SQE 1 and 2 prep courses. So when you're doing your conversion, whichever one you are doing, you are going to get some key subjects there. So, whichever of the conversions I was talking about, you will get the basics of the law of England and Wales under your belt. So by that I mean you will study and pass exams on contract law, so the law of agreements, tort law. So this is the law of wrongs. This is how we sue people where we have been injured, perhaps by nature of negligence, or perhaps we've been injured by way of our reputation. So we're suing in defamation. You will study the English legal system and constitutional law. So this is the law of sort of public bodies, how we make law in this jurisdiction, and the interaction between individuals and state bodies, including, for example, the police. Criminal law, so obviously an area of public law, an area where the law sets rules and regulations and how we are punished if we go beyond them. Real estate, which is about how we own and transfer land. My subject, equity and trusts, so how you own land and other property in a very sophisticated vehicle called a trust, which has some tax advantages, and also the law of succession, how you leave property when you die. And then some human rights, some administrative law, so again, how we interact with public bodies, this time sort of bodies like local authorities, and also how our human rights are protected. Now, those subjects appear in all conversion courses, even solicitors, the SQE Legal Essentials course. However, the SQE Legal Essentials course is only essentials. That's all it is. So it doesn't have extra bolt-on options that you can see here that go to skills and behaviours that law firms are looking for, or law of organisations, which is about business vehicles. Those modules are only to be found in the PGDL and the MA laws, the MA law conversion and the MA law SQE. So what route is best for you? So the key thing here, and I hope I've sort of given a bit of a feel for this already, is that the PGDL and the MA law conversion obviously have got these sort of, key foundation subjects that you really need to understand how the law operates in this jurisdiction, and also delivers key sort of behavioural and professional skills to enable you to work effectively in the profession, to progress through the various professional courses and then perform well in the profession itself. So key legal skills such as analysis and critical evaluation and legal writing. Obviously, you get the core modules within these courses, as well as key modules relating to skills and behaviours, because increasingly firms are looking for more than just the law. They're looking for key skills in terms of research ability and writing ability, analysis, and also key behaviours around interpersonal skills, for example. And also, of course, in terms of the MA law, you've got the option here to really push yourself and get these new and exciting modules. So with the MA law, you're going to get this standalone Master's Award, and you're going to do some exciting extension optional modules, which might surround sort of criminal and civil litigation or arbitration. There's lots and lots of interesting modules there, and you're also going to be able to study for a much more extensive research project, where again it's an opportunity, isn't it, to develop key legal skills, but also then perhaps in an interview or an application be able to showcase those skills to a future employer. So the PGDL and MA conversion, this is just absolute bedrock information that you need, key foundation subject information, key legal knowledge and legal skills. So you want a good, strong foundation. This is going to give it to you. This is going to demonstrate to future employers that you have done more than the bare minimum to get where you are. You have got, the full package. You've got the knowledge and the skills to be a good lawyer. So what about the MA Law SQE1? Well, the key thing here with MA Law SQE1 is that you are getting the core legal modules again, those key foundation subjects, plus you're getting those extra skills and behaviours we've talked about. You're getting that academic stretch with those exciting modules that are really taking you, up to master's level. But you're also getting the SQE1 prep course as part of your sort of purchase, if you like. So it's sort of a one-stop shop in that regard. So you are, in addition to getting these key foundation knowledge and skills, you are now learning about the practical subjects that form part of the SQE1. So we're now moving into practice in terms of business law and practice. We're thinking about actual dispute resolution and actual sort of conveyancing in terms of real estate and professional conduct issues, all of these that appear in the SQE1 examination, you are now learning about, as well as you are also getting the opportunity here to study the how you're going to pass the SQE1 exams. So you are looking, for example, at doing the additional practice that we're providing students in order that when they go along to the SQE1 examination, they will feel confident that they will pass, because the SQE1 examination, I'll tell you a little bit more about that later, it is a very specific way of testing. It is it has 360 little fact patterns with five potential answers, of which you need to choose one, and all 5 answers are correct. You need to choose the best one. It's really quite a challenge. You'll be working at speed. So very, very important that you gain the skills and knowledge in order to pass that, that examination as part of this MA Law SQE1. So who is best suited to this route? Well, it's people who you want a master's level conversion course, you want to get those key foundations under your belt, but you're also looking at progressing quickly and within the price, effectively getting your SQE1 prep as well. So, which brings us to SQE Law Essentials. Now, this is a very different ballgame, and I think the key thing here is to realise that this is an online course. It is not face-to-face, and it's about giving you the essentials, as its name suggests. This is about getting just the essentials of those key foundation modules I talked about when I was talking about court, tort and contract and equity and so on and so forth. It's getting those key modules under your belt. They are modules which employers expect you to have in order to be a good lawyer, and they are modules that, in addition to areas I spoke about a moment ago, are also assessed in the SQE1. So it's giving you the essentials to pass that. So it's flexible, it's online, you do get tutor support, of course, but it's not face-to-face. And this is about students sort of who are obviously thinking about speed. It's a quick course. It really is sort of quick and fast, and it is about getting to your SQE1 exams as quickly as you can. But it's really for people, above all, who have legal knowledge already and who would be brushing that up, rather than people who are coming to this with little or no legal knowledge of the UK legal system, because you do need all of that information under your belt, not just to pass SQE1, but to do the job well. So it is, isn't it, quite a lot to take on board. Let's do a bit of a compare and contrast here. So what about the entry requirements? So I'm speaking here in terms of entry requirements as we understand them in our jurisdiction. So a 2-2 is effectively a second-class degree at the sort of lower level. So it's looking at an undergraduate degree, and a 2-2 is acceptable for the PGDL, the MA Law conversion, and the MA Law SQE1. Interestingly, the SQE Legal Essentials has no entry requirements, You just simply have to have an undergraduate degree at some level. Study modes, all of these courses are available online, but if you remember, SQE Legal Essentials is only online. The others have face-to-face options delivered in our various campuses that I showed you earlier. Full-time start dates are October 2021 for the PGDL MA Law Conversion and MA SQE1, but there is an earlier start date for SQE Legal Essentials, so the soonest start date there is May. And then you can see the part-time start dates there, October for all courses bar the SQE Legal Essentials. So that gives you a feel for compare and contrast. Now, I said that SQE Legal Essentials was fast and furious. We'll come to that. You can see it, can't you, on the far end. Let's look at the course lengths. So the PGDL, as I say, the sort of natural successor to our current very successful GDL, which is 9 months, and the PGDL is 9 months. It's a 9-month full-time course, 16 months part-time. And you can expect, in terms of your weekly study hours on a PGDL, you can expect to be working between 40 and 45 hours full-time, 20 and 22 hours part-time. And that's not all in class. That's in terms of your preparation time, the reading and preparing for workshops so that you're ready to fully engage in those workshops. The MA Law Conversion, well, that's a slightly longer course because, of course, we've got this sort of extension, haven't we, in terms of additional modules and an in-depth research report. So that is 10 months full-time, 19 months part-time, but a similar amount of time per week is dedicated to it. MA Law SQE1 is a little longer full-time than the MA Law Conversion because, of course, it has its SQE prep course bolted into it, doesn't it, at the end. So that is 12 months full-time and then 15 months part-time plus 6 months to achieve the SQE1. And the amount of time dedicated is similar to the other courses. And then there's SQE Legal Essentials. It's fast and furious, isn't it? Which is why it's called Legal Essentials. Quite clearly, in 10 weeks full time, you are not going to get the depth of knowledge and the level of sort of skills enhancement that you would get on the PGDL or the MA laws. Clearly not. So it really is aimed at people who are very confident about the fact that they have got legal knowledge and that they are effectively, aren't they, brushing this up really in readiness to be able to say, yes, I can use that knowledge and deploy it in my SQE1 examination. A similar amount of time to get through because obviously you're doing less detailed work, but obviously you're doing it over quite a short period of time. Okay, well, I hope that gives you a really good feel then for what's now on the left-hand side of the slide. So the law conversion courses we have dealt with, and you really need one under your belt as students in the jurisdiction now would do in order to make a success of your future career as a solicitor or indeed as a barrister. So let's now look at routes into practice in more detail. We saw the overarching route map, didn't we, right at the beginning? Now let's home in with more detail. So this slide assumes that you either have, perhaps you're in the UK, student has got an undergraduate LL.B, or they've done a degree in something else and got a law conversion, and someone based outside the UK has perhaps, let's say, done some legal study, but now has done their law conversion. Now, if you have started an old style law conversion in the UK, an old style GDL before, in fact, not September 2021, before the 31st of August 2021, then you can go down the old route, which is coming along the top of my slide. So there are these transitional arrangements, and I'm not going to talk to them much today, but just to say that for students that are able to apply for and accept a place and effectively get going on a law conversion, an old style law conversion, an old GDL before the 31st of August 2021, they can do that and the legal practice course, the old style route into being a solicitor, which includes a 2-year training contract. But Coming effectively to the courses after 2021, so coming on to our new PGDL, our new MA Law, new SQE Legal Essentials, well, then you come down the route at the bottom of the slide. So then you would do preparation to get you into position to take your SQE 1 and 2 assessments. And that would be either an LLM in legal practice, which covers both the preparation for SQE 1 and SQE 2, as well as extra modules to lift the qualification to a master's level, or you just take the SQE 1 and SQE 2 preparation courses. There are issues with the SQE 1 and 2 preparation courses as standalone courses if you're coming into the jurisdiction because they are not long enough for our Home Office to give visas for study. So those coming into the jurisdiction to do SQE 1 and 2 preparation would need to do the LLM in legal practice. Having done that and passed your SQE 1 and SQE 2, well then 2 years qualifying work experience is what completes the package so that you're admitted to be a solicitor. So, which course and when? Let's home in. We've talked about the legal practice course as being something you can only do if you got going well in advance of the, of September 2021. You had applied for, accepted a place on an old style GDL. It was the only way you can keep going on the legal practice course. But it's the new and exciting LLMs that we want to talk about today, our new SQE courses. So I sort of mentioned them, didn't I, there? Let's drill down as we did with the conversion courses. So the sort of the longest and, if you like, the most sort of thorough preparation course, I've already talked about it, is the LLM in legal practice. And it incorporates SQE 1 and SQE 2, as well as some master's level modules. And that's the one that is likely to give rise to the University of Law being able to sponsor you in order to come into the country to study for your SQE 1 and 2 examinations and take them. We do nonetheless have standalone SQE 1 preparation courses and SQE 2 preparation courses. You can buy them individually. And then we also have an SQE 1 and SQE 2 exam prep courses. These are quick fire, last minute sort of, revision and practice courses so that you're ready to take your SQE 1 and SQE 2 examinations. And don't worry, those exam prep courses are subsumed into and part of the price for the LLM in legal practice and the SQE 1 and SQE 2 preparation courses themselves. So let's do a compare and contrast as we did before. So, entry requirements. Well, in order to do the LLM in legal practice, which incorporates, as we know, SQE 1 and SQE 2, you will need a 2-2. We've seen this before, haven't we, when we looked at the conversion courses. You need a 2-2 in your undergraduate degree. So that is a second-class degree at the lower level in UK terms. The SQE 1 and 2 preparation courses, well, there is no entry requirement as such in terms of, a particular degree you need, but inevitably, in order to pass SQE 1, you will need knowledge of the 7 foundation subjects that come from a law degree or conversion course. And the reason for that is that the SQE 1 examination assesses those 7 foundation subjects from a student's LLB or a conversion course, as well as new material that we will be teaching in the SQE 1 preparation course and indeed the LLM in legal practice. So business law, dispute resolution, criminal litigation, wills and estates, solicitors' accounts, taxation law, professional conduct. So some new areas not covered on the conversion or an LLB. So inevitably, you need knowledge of those 7 foundation subjects as you arise. They're not being taught again. There's a chance for you at the beginning of your SQE 1 prep course or LLM in legal practice to go through so we're calling it diagnostic testing, to make sure that you're aware how strong you are in your 7 foundation subjects, how well you have them under your belt. And there will be online revision tools to help you brush them up, but we will not be reteaching them. So you do need to arrive onto your SQE1 prep course or your LLM legal practice prep course with those foundation subjects under your belt. So how do you study? You study online if you wish, or face-to-face. All the courses are available face-to-face, and SQE2 in particular, I think there's a real premium at being face-to-face because that is a skills course where some of the skills are oral skills, so it is very, very useful to be face-to-face if you possibly can. Full-time start dates for the LLM in legal practice, that's August 2021. We're kicking off in August because you have to hit the first examination that the SRA have set, Solicitors Regulation Authority have set the examination in November. So to be ready for it, you have to start in August. And the SQE2 prep course starts in February 2022 because the SQE2 examination is in April 2022. That's the first examination. The part-time dates, as you can see, are slightly different. January 22 for the LLM and SQE1, May 22 for the SQE2. And that's all about running into the central assessment date. It's getting you ready in time. That's what those dates are about. Okay, course content then. So if we kick off then, we talked about the LLM being the sort of, if you like, the most comprehensive course and the course that sort of has the most in it, if you like. This is very true. So the LLM in legal practice is worth 180 credits in sort of higher education language. And that's because it needs that many credits because it's a master's qualification. So you're going to get a freestanding master's and LLM by virtue of studying the SQE1 and SQE2 prep courses and completing the SQE1 and SQE2 examinations that the SRA, the Solicitors Regulation Authority, have set, and completing our own LLM modules, our SQE plus modules, we're calling them. These additional modules, and you've got a huge array of choice there. For example, subjects beyond the basics of SQE1, like intellectual property and commercial law and mergers and acquisitions, all sorts of interesting areas, immigration, private client, all sorts of interesting areas that you can study as part of your master's. You also, of course, will get full assessment support in terms of both your University of Law exams, but more importantly, those centrally assessed SQE1 and 2. So lots of assessment support in terms of you get your examination prep course within the course fee. And so you are being assisted in terms of your last minute revision and your practice, and you're getting access to our app, which we are developing for people's phones so that they can practice these types of questions that come on SQE1. There will be a pre-study academic legal knowledge quiz for you, including predictive analytics. So the pre-study academic legal knowledge quiz is our diagnostic testing, which says this is where you are with your foundation subjects. And this is how much extra work you'll need to do to get ready for SQE1, and we'll help you with these online resources to do that. The predictive analytics follow you throughout the course and basically are helping you to establish whether you're ready to go and sit the examination, okay, for SQE1. So lots of practice, and we're able to say to you, look, you're doing extremely well, we're very confident you'll pass, or we're worried that your business law, for example, is perhaps not going as well as it should, perhaps if you don't feel you can brush that up in time, maybe postpone your sit, that sort of thing. All the manuals are included within your LLM legal practice course fee, as well as those revision courses, those exam prep courses I talked about. And you've got additional, haven't you, legal content. The SQE1 prep course is a little bit more, if you like, a little bit more basic than obviously the LLM legal practice. It's just 60 credits. But those 60 credits can go towards a master's qualification if you then choose to do so, if you then chose to jump onto the LLM in legal practice, for example. But the SQE1 prep course itself is worth 60 credits. You get that assessment support, you get that sort of pre-study quiz and analysis and predictive analytics. You get the manuals for SQE1 included in the price, and your exam prep course, revision course is included in the price, but obviously no additional legal professional content. You don't get access to those additional options we talked about, which really round your experience and actually put you on a level with current LPC students, legal practice course students, who get the option in the old style course, in the old traditional way of developing areas that perhaps play to a particular firm's strength and make them attractive to a firm. The SQE2 prep course is worth just 30 credits, but those also can go towards the LLM Masters if you change your mind and want to jump onto that. You get assessment support. Obviously, no need for the pre-study academic legal knowledge quiz at that point because SQE1 has passed. You will have passed it already, and the predictive analytics go towards SQE1. We're talking about the skills assessment here. You get the manuals for SQE2 within the course price and your SQE2 revision course, your exam prep course, where it's practice, practice, practice with your skills, honing them in readiness for your SQE2 assessment, but no additional legal content. That obviously is exclusive to the LLM. So very much our flagship program, our LLM in legal practice. We're very, very proud of it. It is our natural successor to the legal practice course, which we currently deliver and will continue to deliver for those students who are still allowed to go down that route. As the old style legal practice course did, this focuses very much, obviously, on key practice areas and skills desired by the firms. This is not about just effectively getting over the hurdle that the SRA have put in place with SQE1 and SQE2. This is about being attractive to an employer. It's about being able to be very practical in the workshop and hone your client-focused skills, your appreciation of commercial awareness. It's that sort of ability that will be made to you in this course. You'll be able to really enhance those skills. So a key focus, obviously, on passing SQE1 and SQE2, but then these additional skills will be honed as part of the course. We are going to be sort of offering you effectively a personalized learner journey here because we are using learner analytics to make sure that, we're happy with how you're doing and that you're happy with how you're performing and that we can help you quickly. We can see if you're struggling in a particular area, we can help you. So we can follow your personalized learner journey and offer you additional support where we need to be very reactive to your needs. We've got specific modules which are designed obviously to prepare you for the legal workplace, and by that I'm talking about those additional modules. We talked about some exciting options. I mentioned intellectual property, private client, and in addition also some specific models around behaviours such as resilience and all those sorts of key behavioural skills that firms are looking for, interpersonal skills and so on and so forth. And it's about, isn't it? It's about you. This is about your journey and your career. And of course, we want to offer you, as always, the career support, employability support to help you be successful in securing employment at the end of the course. It's not just about passing the course. So here we go. I've talked about them. I've sort of dangled them in front of you, but here is the SQE Plus content that I mentioned. This is the additional content that you get in the LLM legal practice, but not if you just were to buy the SQE1 and SQE2 separately. And you can pick, as you can see, 3 key practice areas, so worth 20 credits each. So 3 key practice areas. From the sort of left-hand side, if you like, and you can, in addition, all pick 4 key practice areas and 1 business of law module. So, there's lots of exciting ways of operating here. You can, as you see, choose from some of these sort of exciting options that I've talked about here. I mentioned, didn't I, a number of them. The ones I didn't mention were debt finance, advanced criminal practice, personal injury. I didn't mention advanced dispute resolution, employment and competition. So, lots of key practice areas that will really enhance your knowledge and skills base entering into a law firm. Or you can mix and match with some of the more behavioral modules on the right-hand side there. So you could instead, couldn't you, choose perhaps to focus on professional behaviours and personal effectiveness. So about those key sort of behavioural skills and interpersonal skills that would make a difference in the office. In addition, mightn't you study about law firms and their clients? So this is, learning about the business of being in law, the law industry. How do they make money? How do they grow their businesses? Would they develop their business by going overseas? This sort of thing. Or, really important at the moment, legal tech, innovation and technology, and legal project management. So some really exciting modules that could really enhance really enhance your portfolio, really, in what you can offer to a firm. So what about the different timings, as we did when we looked at conversion courses? So the LLM in legal practice, as we've said, this really is our flagship course. And so unsurprisingly, rather like the current legal practice course, it's 10 months in duration full-time, 19 months part-time. And you can see the amount of time that would be dedicated to it: 45 to 50 hours a week full-time, 18 to 20 hours part-time. And that's because you'd be spending time, we talked about the manuals, reading and preparing, so that when you're in the workshops, you're able to fully engage with the material and fully engage as well with those key skills and honing those skills. The SQE1 prep course is measured in weeks. So it's 14 weeks for the full-time prep course, 27 weeks part-time, but the same amount of time needs to be dedicated to it in terms of study time. And then the SQE2 prep course time is 10 weeks, 22 weeks part-time, and again, the same amount of study time to be dedicated to it. So the LLM in legal practice significantly longer than the individual prep courses themselves, because of course the prep courses are within the LLM in legal practice, and of course the LLM in legal practice has those exciting additional modules. So, in terms of sort of what you get, which course might be you, that sort of thing. So we know, don't we? We've mentioned it. So the LLM in legal practice, it's got the prep course for SQE1, the prep course for SQE2. It's got exciting practice areas for you to study in addition, and legal skills. It's got legal professional skills embodied in it. The assessments are an array of external assessments, centralized assessments, and University of Law assessments. So the SQE1 and SQE2 will be assessed centrally by the Solicitors Regulation Authority, and you will go to their assessment centre to do that. The master's element of the LLM legal practice is assessed by the University of Law, and that will be by way of courseworks and presentations. So effectively, you will be preparing for us to assess you, both in written and in your oral skills. And yes, you have access to, as we talked, our revision app if you're doing the LLM in legal practice. The SQE1 prep course, well, then you are only obviously learning about SQE1 and the subject matters that are in there, although you've got, haven't you, our revision app and our online resources to help you with your foundation subjects if they are a little bit rusty. Yes, professional skills are embedded. So as part of the workshops, you will nonetheless be focusing on the client and thinking about commercial awareness, but you are assessed solely centrally. You're going to the SRA's central assessment area, central assessment venue in order to take that assessment. And SQE2 works the same way. You're just learning about the knowledge and skills needed for SQE2. Yes, you've got professional skills embedded because obviously it's very much a skills course, but you are assessed solely at the central venue. And you do get access to our revision app, of course, because you need to make sure that you are keeping your key practice areas from SQE1 fresh, because the skills in SQE2 are assessed within the knowledge content of SQE1. So when you're doing your interviewing and your advocacy and your legal research and your legal writing and your legal drafting and your case matter analysis for SQE2, you're doing it in the context of the SQE1 subject areas. So business, real estate, dispute resolution, criminal litigation, wills and probate, that sort of thing. So we've sort of, haven't we, had a look at lots of different courses today. And I think I really want to sort of make sure that you appreciate that, we're very proud of the courses we deliver, and it's important to us that it's more than just delivering, a pure course. course, it's about the wraparound care that we give you. So I've mentioned the employability team. We're very proud of our careers team. They have a hugely successful offering in terms of securing work, so training contracts of old and qualifying work experience going forward, indeed pupilages. For those who want to go to the bar. So, career support is dedicated to obviously helping you to get a job in the law. That's what we do. And you get access to that career support as soon as you accept your place. Tutors who will be teaching at the University of Law are qualified lawyers. I'm a qualified lawyer. I worked for a Magic Circle firm in the City of London, and I can assure you that my colleagues at Guildford and Reading are all qualified lawyers. All but 2 are qualified solicitors, and 2 of them are qualified barristers. So they've got practical experience to bring, which is really important, because at the end of the day, the Solicitors Qualifying Examination are highly practical courses. They are, the skills elements are highly practical. It's very much what you'd be doing in the office. There are flexible study options. We've seen all the various ways of studying these courses online and face-to-face. Some are shorter, some are longer. And although these are new courses and the assessment that you're going to be studying is new, we've got years of experience of preparing students for assessments and preparing students for multiple choice assessments. So yes, the SQE1 is a new style of examination, but we have always used MCQs in the legal practice course. And the bar course, the bar practice course, has also used MCQs in the past. So we're very experienced in assessing in that way. We have a dynamic learning model. So in other words, in workshops, you will be interacting with tutors. You won't just be sitting passively and listening. And we will be having all the relevant learning technology so that you are able on campus to be able to practice your assessments in terms of SQE1, for example, which is itself, yes, an MCQ, an exam, isn't it? A multiple choice exam, but it's online. So you will be doing the exam online, so you need to practice online. So we will have the learning technology available for you to do that, including the app to practice on your phone. You'll, of course, have a personal tutor who will be concerned for your academic and your progress and your welfare throughout your time with us. And of course, you'll get access to the manuals specifically written for the SQE1. And we've talked about practice, 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 and that learning, that app that we're providing has got an extensive assessment bank, effectively, question after question after question for you to practice on, as well as we'll be providing during our exam prep courses an opportunity to practice assessment questions time and time again, so that you're well versed by the time you sit your centralized assessment. And there is the app. I've been mentioning it to you. It's going to be on your phone, and you will get the opportunity to practice single best answer questions. And it is an intelligent app. So in other words, if you get the question right, well, then it will effectively go to the back of the pack. But if you get the question wrong, it's going to come round more often, so that you practice it and get it right. And we'll also be getting feedback. This is effectively our learner analytics. We'll be getting feedback as to how you're doing, so that we can help you. We can see your individual progress and help you where we need to ensure that you're successful in the assessment. I talked about commercial awareness. I talked about client focus. And just because the SQE1 is now very much an online exam in an MCQ format, doesn't mean that you don't need to practice doing what it's going to be like when you're in an office, when you are a solicitor. So to that end, we will have very, very realistic workshops. Effectively, you're joining ULaw LLP. It's effectively a virtual law firm, so that when you're in the workshop, you're working on the sort of tasks that you could expect to see in the office, the sort of transactions you might need. So, really, really important that you are part of this sort of virtual law firm environment. This isn't academic law, as you would get sort of in a university doing an undergraduate law degree. This is law which is with a practical spin to make you a good lawyer. So whether that's the conversion course or the LL.M in legal practice or the SQE prep courses, this is about, isn't it, being a good lawyer in the law firm you join, not just about passing the exams. So our learning style, I've alluded to there. I talked about, didn't I, study time. And I said at that time that this was not just about all being in the classroom at all times. It isn't 45 hours of classroom. It's 45 hours of preparation and consolidation and being in the classroom. So our model is for you to get a clear steer as to what you need to do in terms of reading and preparatory activities before you go along to a workshop. So that's your prep. You will be interacting with your classmates and your tutor and engaging with the material in the workshop in this sort of ULaw LLP environment, sort of being really, really practical in terms of using the academic law to solve problems and to move transactions further on. You will interact with your tutor. You'll certainly want to meet your tutor and talk to your tutor if you've got any questions or any concerns. And at the end of that, you will then consolidate. And so that's the way we like to learn. It's all about student-focused learning. That's how you will learn the best. Fees, obviously, very important to know, and I can't stress highly enough the diamond that's on the left-hand side of the slide there. Our fees that are mentioned on this slide do not cover the costs of the central assessment of the SQE1 and SQE2. We are not allowed to book your place at the central assessment centre for you. We're not allowed to collect that sort of money and pay it for you. You must pay the Solicitors Regulation Authority yourselves for that examination. So none of the fees here cover the fees for doing the actual exam, which the SRA charge. But here you can see an array of the fees. So we're back to the conversion courses here. So the PGDL, which is of the sort of the big three conversion courses, is the shortest of the three, the PGDL, MA Law, Conversion, and MA SQE. And so the range, depending on which campus you're at, the range is between 9,850 and 12,250, London being the most expensive of those, because obviously higher overheads in a big city. Scholarships, keep an eye on our website, some exciting scholarships coming soon. But insofar as I know unlikely here, but if you were able to have access to the UK Student Loan Company, there is no government loan available for the PGDL. The MA Law conversion is the range there. You can see 11,000 to 13,200. Again, London being more expensive, and does attract the Student Loan Company Master's Loan, which currently stands at 11,222, possibly not relevant to you. And the MA Law SQE1, slightly more expensive, 12,250 to 15,000, because of course that now is longer, isn't it? And it encompasses SQE1 prep. And then the Solicitors Qualifying Examination Legal Essentials course, remember that was just 10 weeks, it was fast and furious. No eligibility for scholarships there, and it's 3,500 because it is, isn't it, very much for people who are looking for a quick route to the SQE, but really doesn't have the sort of the depth of the other three courses, and so it's really aimed at people who have legal knowledge already. Fees in terms of SQE preparation. So there's the LL.M in legal practice. 12,000 to 16,500 for the LL.M in legal practice. Again, London being the more expensive campus, the northern campuses being the more economical campuses. Scholarships will be available. They'll be on our website in due course. And we've there got the funding options mentioned too. The SQE1 prep course and SQE2 prep course, similar price, you can see it mentioned there. There's a ULaw alumni discount will be available for those courses. So if you're coming in from one of the University of Law's conversion courses, there's a discount available as alumni. The SQE1 prep courses don't attract the government loan, unlike the LL.M in legal practice. There's also, as part of the SQE1 prep courses, of course, you're getting, aren't you, your free exam prep course. That's within the course fee. And we are confident that we can get you through the SQE1. And so we are offering that if you are unsuccessful first time in the SQE1, you can repeat the SQE1 exam prep course, that last minute sort of revision course, for free as many times as you need. That's how confident we are. So that is a whistle-stop tour of our various courses. I really hope that that has given you the information that you need. I've put on this slide here that if you do have any questions that I'm not able to answer today, or you feel that you'd like to pose more in a more private arena, then do email the email address that's on the slide there, international@law.ac.uk, where our team will be very happy to answer your questions. But I'm going to head over now. I'll pass back over. I think it's to Deepika, and wait for your questions to come in.
Thank you, Sarah, for such a knowledgeable presentation. So we have got many questions on YouTube live chat box. The first question, the student wants to ask, what is the employability rate for law postgraduates? Is post-study work visa is available after doing LLM?
I don't know the answer to that, I have to say. Obviously we haven't run the LL.M in legal practice yet. It hasn't happened yet. But in terms of our legal practice course, I don't have stats for international students, but I do know that the University of Law has a very high employability rate from the current legal practice course, which has some students bolt on a master's too. And so looking at our students as they leave us, we follow them 15 months from the legal practice course. Our employability rates there are in basically well over 90%. I think it's 96% students are in employment, of which over 90% are in legal employment. So a very high level of employment from the old style legal practice course, but we haven't yet run the LL.M in legal practice.
Thank you, Sarah. The next question, student wants to ask, what is the lockdown situation in UK? Are we allowed to do part-time jobs?
Again, that's very much for our visa team who will know the answer to that. I think it very much depends on the visa that's given to you. Sometimes I know in the past students have been allowed to do jobs, but it's capped at a limited number of hours per week. But that's definitely one that please do email the international@law.ac.uk email address, and they'll be able to pass it on to our visa team, who will be able to look at your personal circumstances and the like, and what the government's position will be on that.
Sarah, hi Deepika and Sarah, it's Katrin from the international team. I'll just jump on quickly on this one. So students who are on a student visa in the UK, they are allowed to work. However, it is limited to 20 hours per week. And obviously students who come to the UK, they're only allowed to study full-time. So obviously you'll have to see how that works with your study schedule. But in terms of lockdown, I mean, it's very, very difficult to answer at the moment because everything is literally closed right now, apart from shops. Hopefully in the next month or so, anyone who comes to the UK will have more opportunities for work and anything. But yeah, so the work, part-time work is limited to 20 hours per week on student visa.
Thank you. The next question is about the fee structure. And I think Sarah has already covered about the fee structure, the details. So coming to the next question, what are the common company partners for law careers that university partners with?
Okay, so in terms of law firms, in terms of the Magic Circle, we're currently delivering exclusively for Linklaters, but we've also got a number of other London firms. I think there's some exciting announcements coming actually in terms of some firms that we'll be delivering exclusively for going forward. So I think keep your eyes out for those. In terms of some of the sort of national firms, we deliver for Owen Mitchell, the London firm Charles Russell Speechless, for example, which also has a base out in the southeast in Guildford. We deliver exclusively for them, as well as for sort of more regional firms. So I mean, I can't sort of list them all, but there are a wide range of firms that we deliver exclusively for and partner with. But I should say, in addition, our employability team have excellent relations with firms in their area. So, for example, Guildford and Reading, we've got fantastic relations with the local firms. So they will come in, at the moment it's virtual, but they come in and they will run law fairs and deliver law talks and offer advice. We have a mentoring scheme, so you be paired up with a qualified lawyer, often of very senior status, to assist you with your applications. So it's not just about who we exclusively provide for, it's also about the firms that we work with at a campus level, and there's just far too many to list.
Thank you, Sarah. The next question, is there housing available for students through the university?
So yes, so far as we have something called Student Pad, which you can access via our website. And so as part of that, you will see access to accommodation. And I don't know if Katrin has anything additional to add in terms of international students, but certainly all my students can access accommodation, often with private landlords that way.
Thank you, Sarah.
Yes.
Yeah. Sorry. Yeah, please continue.
Sorry. No, I was just going to add that, so students do get support to find their accommodation. However, we don't, because obviously we are, the university is based in different cities, and we don't have as such university accommodation, but we do have a very active accommodation team and the accommodation portal that all students get access to, and they're able to find their accommodation through that portal, and obviously get support from the teams as well whilst they do that. They can find whatever suits them best, which is all uploaded on the portal.
Thank you. The next question, my brother has done BBA LLB from India. Can he apply for LL.M directly, or any experience is needed?
I think in terms of the LL.M, I think you've just got to be ready for the fact that if you want to work in this jurisdiction, you have to pass SQE 1, Sisters Qualifying Examination 1 and 2, and the SQE 1 will assess the key foundation subjects that appear in an LLB in England and Wales, and a conversion course in England and Wales, so our PGDL or our MA Law conversion. So I would think that, and I would say this to a British student too, it's incredibly challenging to pass SQE1 without those foundation subjects under your belt. And they are obviously cited within the law of England and Wales. So I do think that there needs to be some sort of preparation prior to doing the LL.M legal practice to ensure you're going to be successful in SQE1. Now, whether your brother thinks that needs to be the MA Law conversion or the MA Law SQE or the PGDL, or whether they feel that the Sisters Qualifying Examination Legal Essentials, the SQE Legal Essentials is enough, I don't know whether they feel that would be enough. But my advice would be, it is important, to make sure and to be comfortable that you've got that knowledge under your belt, because otherwise it would be a shortcut that may actually end up being a false economy. That would be my concern.
Thank you, Sarah. The next question, what is the deadline for the applications?
It's a very good point. So it's remarkably fluid, actually, in the sense that as a university, it's about having applied before the course starts. But I suspect Katrin is going to jump in and say that actually, of course, if you're coming into the country and require a visa, then we need to have put in motion all the steps we need to take in order to sponsor you, to give you your CAS number so that you can then get the right visa. And so you need to make sure that there is sufficient time in place for you to do that. But in terms of actual application deadlines, it is literally, in time for the course to start. We don't have deadlines in place, but it's about being sensible in terms of what you need in terms of visas, for example.
Yes, I'll just sorry, I'll just quickly jump in that Sarah, you are very much in the right about that. So as an international student, obviously you will need to go through the visa process and firstly CAS process and then visa process, which obviously requires some time. Therefore, we have published on our website, on our visa page, the CAS deadlines that international students need to follow. Therefore, please be mindful of the fact that there are different deadlines for international students because of the visa.
Thank you. The next question. Can you please give information about undergraduate law?
Undergraduate law. In the UK, in terms of the University of Law, we do have an undergraduate LLB, and as part of that, we've got two versions of that. We've got an accelerated 2-year program in London only, and a 3-year program across all the other campuses, London and the other campuses. The 3-year program is the most popular by a long way. And as part of that, students will study those key foundation subjects I discussed in the conversion course. They're all in the undergraduate law degree. So if you remember, crime and equity and trusts and real estate and contract and tort and so on, they're all in the undergraduate law degree. But because there's 3 years, there's also scope to do more options. So particularly in the 2nd and 3rd years, there's scope for students to do interesting options, surrounding areas like corporate governance or family law or private client, this sort of thing. So a big array of options to choose from. And in addition to that, there is also an option to do a sort of more of a research project, a sort of dissertation, if you like, and effectively one of your modules can be taken up with that. So legal research and legal writing. So more options really in the undergraduate law degree, but our law degree is very practical. And it has very much in its mind, not that it will, yes, it will get you qualified for the bar, but in addition, it's also getting you ready for SQE. So our LLB has been refreshed, and within that, we're also making sure you're getting exposure to single best answer questions, so that you're getting a bit of a sort of feel for what it's going to be like when you do the SQE, if that is your choice.
If I can just add one more thing, Sarah, to that. Our LLB is also recognized by the Bar Council of India. So that's another advantage for the Indian students, Deepika.
Thanks, Raj. So moving towards the next question. The student wants to ask, is LLM sufficient for conversion? Please clarify, or do we need any other course?
Sorry, so is the question that is the LLM and legal practice enough? Is that what
yeah,
is that
yeah.
Well, I think I've covered that in so far as I can't sort of reiterate enough that the Solicitors Qualifying Examination Stage 1 does assess the key foundation subjects from the conversion course. So, and we're not reteaching that as part of SQE1 preparation, as part of the LLM in legal practice. So I think, I mean, I don't know your personal circumstances, but, I am, from my perspective, I would say the only person who would really usually go and do an LLM in legal practice and thinking I don't need to do anything else is if they have already got an LLB from England and Wales or a conversion course from England and Wales, because then you have got those key foundation subjects under your belt. I don't think you can tackle the SQE1 examination without having those without having those foundation subjects under your belt. And if you have studied law in India, well, then you just need to be mindful that there will be differences. So it's a question of putting those differences, of understanding the differences. And to do that, usually it used to be that Indian students would do the GDL. So you might argue, well, the PGDL needs to be done then in advance. Query whether you could use the SQE Legal Essentials. It depends really on your own confidence, I think, in terms of your knowledge of the English and Welsh legal system.
Thank you, Sarah. The next question. Is the conversion process same all around UK and for all universities?
The conversion, all universities? Well, I mean, lots of universities in England and Wales don't run conversion courses. They just run undergraduate law degrees. So there's only, I think there's about 30 providers that do the conversion course. But in terms of the University of Law's conversion, it is effectively validated, if you like, so it's based upon the old GDL, which is validated by the Solicitors Regulation Authority and the Bar Standards Board. So obviously has, that sort of quality kite mark, if you like, and the PGDL and MA Law have grown out from that. And obviously from our various campuses, yes, if you study with us, it doesn't matter whether you're at Guildford or Reading or Manchester or Leeds or Exeter, wherever you are, it is the same conversion course.
Thank you, Sarah. The next question is SQE a UK government conducted exam or some private university exam?
Oh, the SQE exam is set effectively by the Solicitors Regulation Authority. So the Solicitors Regulation Authority is the regulatory body in this country that governs solicitors. And so they decided they wanted a centralized assessment. Now they can't physically do that themselves because they've got no experience of that. So they have used somebody called Kaplan, which is a law school, Kaplan Law School, who they are going to provide the examination. So Kaplan are not delivering the preparation courses, they're delivering the exam. So they're designing the exam and running it at central assessment venues on behalf of the Solicitors Regulation Authority.
Thank you, Sarah. The next question. I am a LLB graduate from the UK international student. So I think the LLM legal practice SQE 1 and 2 is suitable for me as it is a master's. Will I be eligible for the 2-year post-study work visa?
Katrin, one for you, I think.
Yes, it is one for me. So yes, you should be eligible for the post-study work visa because it is essentially a master's program. So whoever has graduated from a UK undergraduate degree or UK postgraduate degree, they would be eligible for the post-study work visa. Obviously, it is subject to some regulations and terms and conditions, but yeah, essentially you would be. A good source, we have actually just put, our visa team has updated the information on the website as well. So under our visa page, you would find all of the information that you need regarding the post-study work visa. So I really do suggest that whoever has questions about any visa processes, then that page would give you all the information available. I don't know, Raj, if you want to add anything onto that.
Hi, Katrin. No, just what I think what you said is absolutely correct. Technically, it is, students will be qualified for the post-study work permit. But I think the best, obviously, there are terms and conditions from the UKVI. The best source of information would be our website.
Thank you. So moving towards the next question. Ma'am, I'm confused here. Can we directly give the SQE 1 and 2 without the LLM, or is it mandatory?
It's all, I think, Katrin, it's almost one for you, because this is about, isn't it, coming into the country and being allowed, be allowed into the country in terms of the duration of the courses. So I think, I think in terms of a visa to come to this country to study, it has to be the LLM in legal practice.
Can I take that one, Sarah and Katrin, please? If students would like to do the SQE 1 examination, obviously international students, if they want to come to the UK, they will have to be enrolled into a full-time study. And SQE 1 and SQE 2 are short courses, and they do not qualify for a student visa for these if they are coming for only SQE 1 preparation and SQE 2 preparation courses. Or if they want to come and just do the examinations, they cannot come to the UK through student visa.
Thank you, Raj. Moving towards the next question. Hi, I am an MBA specialized in HRM and working as a human resource professional. However, I am keen to pursue a course in law. Am I eligible?
Yes, I mean, in terms, I see. So I think you're thinking, are you, about whether you have, I mean, I'm thinking about for a conversion course, we gave the entry requirements for the conversion course. So I think it depends if you have a, obviously the degree level in question. Although we do look at, or, you know, if somebody doesn't have a degree, we do look at whether they have the relevant level of experience. I think that's one for our admissions team, really, but I don't see why not. But I did give the entry requirements in terms of the conversion course and the LLM.
Yeah, for this particular question, Deepika, I think there are two assessments that will happen. One is the academic side. Academically, absolutely, the student can enroll into one of the law masters. That's not a problem. But however, we also have to assess from the caste point of view. So the student, it depends again on it absolutely depends on the specific situation. So yeah, so but from the academic point of view, admissions point of view, yes, one can apply even after MBA for a LLM, like an academic LLM masters. But the visa team will be assessing the caste eligibility once the offer letter is being released. Hope that answers the question there.
Thank you, Raj. The next question. Hi, I am from secretarial and finance background, interested in LLM, International Corporate Governance. Is legal studies mandatory for this course?
That's just one of our freestanding LLMs, isn't it? That we see advertised on our website. And so, no, I don't think it isn't. I think it'd be useful, but I don't think it is. But it doesn't lead towards the SQE or the SQE 1 or 2. That is a freestanding master's, that one that you're particularly referring to there.
The last question of today's seminar. The student wants to ask, I have completed my LLB graduate. Please, you can tell me about SQE 2.
SQE 2?
Yeah.
So Solicitors Qualifying Examination 2 is about skills. So there are 16 assessments in SQE 2, and they are split over 5 days at the central assessment venue. And there are 2 days of oral skills. So there's interviewing and advocacy on day 1, interviewing in civil litigation or dispute resolution, advocacy in crime. Day 2, it's interviewing in real estate and advocacy in wills and probate. Then day 3, it's the written assessment. So basically the written legal skills, legal research, legal writing, legal drafting, case matter analysis. So those sort of legal skills are assessed in the context on day 3 of dispute resolution and crime. On day 4, they are assessed in real estate and wills and probate. And on day 5, they're assessed again in business law. So it is 5 days of the skills cited in the context areas that I've talked about being assessed. And so to get ready for that, you really need to have your SQE1 knowledge areas sort of fresh and ready to go. You're being assessed 50% on the knowledge, 50% on the skill. And obviously the SQE2 prep course will refresh that knowledge, but importantly, will develop those key skills that are going to be assessed.
Thank you, Sarah. So we have one more question from the student. He wants to ask, hi, I'm an advocate. I practice in court and tax consultant in my office. When I decide to complete my education, LLM, is it benefit for me?
I think it depends where you want to practice, doesn't it? I think.
Yeah, he's saying that he already have experience. So, will it give any benefit to him after doing LLM from UK?
I can't really speak to the Indian market there. I mean, maybe Raj or Katrin can. I mean, obviously from the UK position, then in terms of translating your Indian qualifications into something that would work here, then obviously it's fundamental to doing that. But in terms of the Indian market, I imagine I know Raj was telling me earlier that a lot of Indian students have studied on our various courses. So Raj, I don't know if you want to take that.
Yeah, happy to, Sarah. Thank you. I mean, there are 2 types of LLM courses, Deepika. So one is the LLM legal practice that Sarah was covering in the presentation today. That is geared towards the qualification route. So that is more geared towards solicitor qualification route. However, we also have a suite of academic masters. So students can choose for LLM legal practice. Obviously, that the route that Sarah was discussing, the students have to follow that route. And if students are looking not to practice in the UK, so that is more for it's suitable for students who would like to get a UK based solicitor qualification. But if students are not looking to gain that qualification, but they were looking to get more specialized in a particular area, they could come for one of our academic LL.M programs, such as we have different specializations from company law to international arbitration to ADR. So they can come here, they do the LL.M in that particular specialization, get the master's degree, and then they go back to India. So a lot of students choose to do that as well, because they would like to get A, specialized in the UK, or specialized in that particular area. B, they would like to gain the international exposure that they will get by studying here in the UK with different nationalities. And when they go back to India, that will enhance with the skill set and knowledge that they've gained, that will definitely enhance their employability in India. Hope that answers the question.
Thank you, Raj. So we have come towards the end of the seminar. I would like to thank all the students for joining us today. And I would also like to thank all the university representative from University of Law for their valuable time and for giving all the answers so responsibly and clear with the clarity. Anything else you want to say forward towards to the student at the end, please? You can say it.
Not for me, but thank you very much for having me.
Thank you so much,
Thank you for the
everyone.
session. Sorry, go ahead.
Thank you, Sarah. Thank you, Deepika. Thank you, Raj. Thanks, Katrin.
Okay, thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks to you, SIUK, as well, for organizing this event, Deepika. We really look forward to interacting with more students and answering more further queries. So there is an email ID mentioned on the slide. They can reach out to us on this email ID. We also have a team based in India. They will be very happy to answer those questions more in specific as well.
Thank you to all the students. Please feel free to contact the university representatives. Their email ID is mentioned here. You can also contact SIUK India offices all over India. They will definitely help you with any query you need. Thank you so much for your time, everyone, once again. Bye.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Bye.